Many of the things that people despise about Donald Trump, that we've been talking about for years, turn out to be completely bogus. There isn't any real evidence that Donald Trump referred to World War I vets as suckers and losers. He did not say about Charlottesville back in 2017, there were good Nazis and bad Nazis. A man was talking about there were good and bad people on both sides of the issue about whether there should be a Confederate monument in Public Square. He never said drink bleach. He never mocked a disabled reporter. You talk to a Trump hater and ask him or her to give you a handful of reasons why, and usually one of the things I just now mentioned will come up. He did not say, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. He said he's going to be a dictator for 1 day to close the border. And the bloodbath stuff was, he said there would be a bloodbath for the auto industry if I don't get reelected. He didn't say there's going to be a bloodbath in the country if I don't get reelected because all my supporters are going to go out and grab people by the necks and kill them. But that's how it's been interpreted. That's how it's been twisted. And of course, we had a 2.5-year investigation on Russia collusion that turned out to be bogus. And these lawsuits against Donald Trump, one after another, has either gone away or will likely be overturned on appeal. Remember Fonnie Lewis in Georgia? What was that all about? Donald Trump was speaking to the Secretary of State, who later on became the governor, and said, find me 11,000 votes. He didn't say steal them. What he meant was make sure that there haven't been 11,000 votes for Donald Trump that have been overlooked. Even the then Secretary of State, later on governor, said he didn't feel intimidated, didn't feel like he was being threatened. And then you have that ridiculous lawsuit by Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA, who ran, as did Letitia James, promising to get Donald Trump. And when he got in there, he didn't do anything. He suggested the evidence wasn't there. And one of the Manhattan assistant DAs quit in a huff, wrote a book calling out Alvin Bragg, and then all of a sudden he comes up with this cockamamie theory that somehow, some way, Donald Trump violated state law by violating federal law by failing to call the payment to Stormy Daniels a campaign contribution, by calling it a legal expense, and somehow, some way, Donald Trump has now committed a felony. And you have a jury pool where 85 to 90% of them voted for his opponent. And even people who are on the left said it was a cockamamie theory they never even heard of before. And you have Letitia James, who again ran promising to get Donald Trump. In both the cases of Alvin Bragg and Letitia James, I believe running as a prosecutor, promising to get certain people when there isn't even any evidence of that, is a violation of the canons of ethics. A prosecutor's job is to do justice, not to get people. In any case, both Letitia James and Alvin Bragg both ran promising to do just that. Letitia James sues him civilly, claiming that he inflated the value of its properties in order to get loans. The banks were not complaining. In fact, at least one banker testified that we do business with Donald Trump because he pays back his interest and principal, and we will do business with him again. $300 million judgment, which is far more now because of penalties. It's being appealed. And I would imagine we're going to get a decision pretty soon. And on appeal, at least one of the judges asked the state, have you ever brought charges against anybody like this before, where the banks are not complaining? And the answer was no. So very likely that's going to be thrown out or substantially reduced. And then you have the documents case. Biden had more documents in more places than did Donald Trump. And the judge has thrown that out. So lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit has either been undermined, Fonnie Lewis was having an affair with her lead investigator, are you kidding me? Or they've gone supernova. So have you changed your mind about Donald Trump?